Been a little bit busy, guys, so haven't been able to film that ad yet, but don't forget, we've got a bunch of products at First Man. Here's a few of them. Supplements, body wash, testosterone friendly body wash, supplements, testosterone booster, lifestyle supplement, natural diuretic to take water out of your face, make you look leaner and sexier. Male Advantage book, that's a paperback, also got it in digital copies as well, audiobook and ebook. Check them all out, guys, and do not forget we've got the streaming platform as well. The link will be below. It's 1m.video. That is where you will find real premium content, documentaries, everything. That's our men's streaming platform, only $1.99 a month, so don't forget to check that out, guys, and enjoy the video. Okay then, guys, welcome back to another video. This video I'm super excited to make for you guys. The views are up on the channel. We're gaining subscribers at a crazy rate. This is fantastic at the moment. You guys are loving the current content and I'm enjoying making it, which is massive. That really helps because then the enthusiasm comes through the camera. So in this video, we are going to be looking at the key to wealth and the key to actually making money. And this is no BS. This is a logical breakdown. I'm going to be going through everything for you guys. And it's not, once, like I've made money, it's not rocket science. Once you've made it, you figure out how it works. I've worked in certain industries where you figure out, okay, this is how it works. And I'm going to give you all the details, guys. You're going to love it. I think by the end, you're all going to sit there and think, do you know what? I think I can get rich now with this strategy. I think I know how to do it. So yeah, let's get started on this presentation. I'm going to stay in a small window and we're going to take it from there. So here we go. Let's start the presentation. So the key is lump sums, but it's not like my other videos. I'm going to break it all down for you guys and I'm going to show you why it's lump sums, how to use them, how to get a lump sum, why it doesn't work in any other method, etc., etc. But I think this is the key to wealth. I think from my experience, it's 50K or more. You can make a good dent with 30 to 50. But I think 50K or more is how you can get serious wealth, the way that people talk about it. I've said anything less is slow and you'll need to strike gold multiple times, which is difficult, which we'll explain in this. And how do you actually save 50K? And we're going to get to that at the end. Okay, so number one, I want to dispel a myth, which is property. And I've got nothing against property. A lot of people always say to me in the comments, what is it with you and property? I've got friends that invest in property that have got very good lives, doing very well, making good money. But property for me personally is a slow game. Now, I would invest in overseas property and I would rent that out because I think you can pick up a lot more money. I like commercial property because I think there's more opportunities. And I wouldn't be against buying a property outright because then I think it's pure profit coming back every single month. But it's the mortgage that I don't like. And this is why. And this is why I'm explaining this, because this is how you make money, okay? This is how to make serious money. So if you want to go down the property route, fine. Not a problem with that. That's what you want to do. It's very safe. It is guaranteed money. It kind of secures the cash that you do have as well. So, well, first of all, you're going to have to get a job for 10 years. Right? If you want 80 grand, excluding all of your life costs, you're probably going to have to get a job for like 10 years in order to save up for the average person. You know, you got people living in London saving for like 10 years. I know there's two of you, so you might get to half that, whatever. But if it's just you, could be like 10 years. But people forget this. People forget this part. They're like, okay, if you want to get into property, what you should do. And it's like, no, you need money first. That might be a 5-year game, 10-year game, depending on the job that you have. But for the average person, it's probably 10 years to be able to save up 80K that they don't need for other things. You know, your lifestyle is, you've got rent, you've got payments for different things. You've got, your car's broken down. Do you know what I mean? It's constant. Life is constant. You need food. Like to save 80K might take like 10 years. Always gets forgotten. So you're already 10 years into the game. Then number two, you need 80 grand for that deposit. So you slap that down. And you're still having to pay $1,200 per month anyway. So it's like you lose your big chunk of money and then you've got to pay rent. That's what it feels like. And I know you own the house, but you don't really benefit until you sell it. And then you're just back where you started. Right? Unless you make a profit. Okay? So if you sell it 10 years later, as we've got on here, and you make 100K profit, It sounds amazing, but it's 100K over 10 years that you've had the house and 20 years in total. So when you divide it down, you're looking at like £10,000 a year, and this is being generous. 100K profit is unusual, but you know, you've made 10K per year for 10 years, which is, you're not rich in that case, or you've made 5K a year over 20 years if you want to do it properly. That doesn't make you rich. I don't think 10 grand a year extra makes you rich. I think it helps with your life. I think it makes you better off. And if you start at 16 and your dad gives you a lump sum or something, and you've got 10 properties by the age of 30, you're probably going to watch this video and be like, but Chris, you're wrong because but your situation is different. Your situation is different. Somebody helped you out at the start. Or if you've got a building background and you've been able to redo some homes, you've been able to repair them and whatnot, then that's different. Because you've got a skill set that's actually making you the money. It's not the property, it's the skill set. People always forget that. Oh, I buy homes and I do them up. Oh, this guy's a millionaire in property. He's a millionaire in construction and problem solving. He's doing what other people wouldn't want to do because it's hard work and it's skilled. People forget that point. So can you get rich off property? Yes. Can the average person starting from zero get rich off property? Yes. Can they do it if they started at 25? Could they do it before 50? Potentially, but they're not going to be super rich. So can you get rich from property? In my opinion, quick enough to have a good life? My answer would be no, unless you have a construction background. Okay, so that myth is dispelled there. And even if you rent that property out, which we'll get to, it's not even that great. Okay, so investing. So the first one, get a job, save for 5 years. Okay, because you don't need the 80K, you just need something like, let's say, 20K to start a decent investment account. That's roughly what I was using when I was playing around with crypto. So you get a job, you save 5 years, you've got your 20K or so. You know, you probably do it quicker, but I'm just putting like worst case scenario on there. Stocks or crypto, you decide. Whatever your investment is, could be something else, but let's say they're the two easy ones that everyone knows. Let's say you get a 20% swing, which is massive. Everyone talks about it in crypto, it's a 10x. Unless it's a 10x, I'm not interested. That's not usual. That is highly unusual to have a 10x swing or a 50x swing. Like, that's why crypto was the Wild West for a while, because it was the type of money and the type of X's that people hadn't seen before. It's just so rare. So there's a 20% swing, which is massive. You should be very fucking grateful for a 20% swing. You will make 4 grand off your 20 grand investment. Okay? Again, slow, small, methodical. Like, you're going to have to do this for like 20, 30, probably like 10 years to just make some serious money. And you're probably not going to get that kind of swing daily. Do you know what I mean? So, again, it's tough. You're just starting with a small amount of money. It's tough. But if you had, and look, I know this isn't plausible, but if you had a £20 million fund, you would have made 4 million off that 20% swing. And this is why money makes money. This is why money seems to stay in the hands of the rich, because once you've got it, it's easy to make it. It's very fucking easy. You know, like people who win the lottery and then they spend it all on like a house and a car. It's like, are you stupid? You could just be 10x in that money very quickly if you just made some smart investments. But that's the hardest part. This is what always gets ignored. When it's Kylie Jenner's a self-made billionaire, it's like, no, to get where she's got, you would need 20 or 30 years in the industry. Look at somebody like a Tom Ford. It took him like 25, 30 years to get to the point where Kylie Jenner started because he didn't grow up rich with a famous family. Okay, and I would assume he's much better at this sort of industry than she is. But yeah, this is what you have to be playing with. You have to be playing with more money. And this is why when people say, oh, this guy's a multi-millionaire from investing, he's doing a course on teaching us how to invest. It's like, yeah, but you got to understand, if he said, oh, I made 84 million last year, he's dealing with a much bigger fund than you. He might be in charge of a hedge fund. He might be a hedge fund manager with like a £2 billion fund. And he's, picking up a percentage of that, or he's got his own money in that. Do you see what I mean? So it's different. Whereas for you, if you've got 20K, and that's if you're lucky, most people wouldn't want to spend that or have that to spare. You're looking at like, you have to have some crazy swings, some crazy X's just to make a decent amount of money. And even that doesn't make you rich. It just makes you well off, which we'll get to in the next one. So investing, does that make you rich? Without a lump sum? No. You could do it over time. Yeah, like 4K profit is great. If you could do that weekly, fantastic. But you need a giant fund. I've entertained the idea of having a hedge fund. I've worked in finance and for a hedge fund software company. I've seen in and among those industries. And a hedge fund is a certain amount of money that I probably wouldn't be able to acquire. But we could start our own mini format of a hedge fund where like 50 of us from this industry or friends that we know that have money could all put like 20K in each. And then we're dealing with $1 million. If you can bring somebody in who's got a proven track record to run that for you and pick up a percentage, you know, we could easily turn that into something crazy, because if you were dealing with the £1 million fund, we'd be dividing that by 20. So we would have made 200 grand off that swing that I spoke about straight away off that fund. So do you see what I mean? It would be pretty easy to do. I don't think that'd be too hard. So I'm tempted to do that in the next few months. Once in a lifetime investments. This is what people talk about. Oh, I made this one investment and I made so much money off the back of it. I had a similar one with Solana, but it didn't make me super rich. It made me about 200 grand. Sorry, I was reading on that. It made me about 100 grand or just shy of. So, you know, there's nothing crazy because I wasn't playing with enough money. If I had $1 million in that, do you know what I mean? I would have made a shit ton of money. But I would have made about 10 million, 11 million. Which is frustrating because, you know, I'm starting from the bottom. I'm starting as a poor kid. It's difficult. This is what I'm trying to explain to you lot. So if you had a 20K stock or crypto, or 20K in a stock or crypto as an investment, and that 10x'd, does that make you rich? You'd have 200 grand. Does that make you rich? In my opinion, no. Makes you temporarily well off. You've got some money in your account. Doesn't make you rich though, because that's just the price of one average house. You buy an average house, 2-3 bedroom house outright, probably 2 bedroom in the UK. Okay. And you rent it and you make 1,500 per month. Nice. Could you retire? Yeah, it wouldn't be a great life, but you could retire. So that's stage one. But fuck, that's a struggling life. Do you know what I mean? But does that make you rich? No. So a once in a lifetime investment for me and you, people who were starting off at the bottom, does it make us rich? No. So is that bullshit? Kind of, because then you need multiple investments. So a lump sum investing, let's say you have 200K to spare in a stock or a crypto, and that goes up 10x and you make 2 million. Does this make you rich? Well, yeah, because you can get 10, let's say you could get 10 average houses. I'm just using stuff that people would understand. And that would make you £15,000 per month. Does that make you rich? Yeah. I'd say so. I'd say if you've got a residual 15,000 per month coming in, I'd say you're pretty rich. I'd say you could retire and have a great life, travel the world, do whatever you want to do. So that tells you, you know, you're going to have to play with about 200K that you've got spare that you're willing to lose. Do you see how hard this is, guys? Do you see how difficult this is? This is why so many people don't become rich. Your other option is to get 2 10x's. So you start, let's say you start with 2. You 10x it to 20, you 10x it to 200, you know, and then you 10x it to 2 million, and then you have that life. Who's that good though? Who do you know that's pulled 4 of them out of the bag, back to back? I don't know anybody. I'm sure there is somebody, but I don't know many people. And they've probably had tons of losses along the way. So you only hear about the good stuff is what I'm trying to explain to you guys. I know this, you're going to look at this and be like, so it's impossible to get rich if you don't start there. It's not, but I've just got to show you the realities because I don't want you wasting your time. And I'll show you the real method to do it. So what about selling something, starting a business, creating products like I did, as you can probably see down there? Well, let's say you put 10K into a product. You have 2,000 units. Each unit cost is £5 and you sell each unit for £11.99. You make £23,980. Okay. And just like I did with my first batch, every penny's got to go back in. You have to. There's no other way to do it. So that doesn't make you rich off the bat. And that's quite a large number to start with, 10K as well. If you've got 10K to throw at a product, you're number one, either ballsy, or number two, you've got a bit of money spare. So that's going to take you a while too. So you're going to have to get a job, save us another like 5-10 years. Well, for 10K, you could probably do that in a year or two. But, you know, you'd have to have the balls to want to do it. And then we get to the third part, which is when you put it all back in, you get a cheaper price. You get £4 per unit. Okay, great, because you've ordered more. 20k back in, 4,000 in your bank account, just to, just in case. And then obviously you're going to get taxed, so there's probably, you could probably justify the 4, so that'd be okay. 5,000 units, that gets you this time, and that is just shy of 60,000 in revenue and just shy of 40,000 in profit. And I got the picture here because this guy's going to be stressed out of his mind, okay? That's decent money, but he's going to be stressed out of his mind. Is he rich? No. He's going to have to put all that money back in. So puts it all back in, restocks it, and the profit that he has remaining, 39,000, whatever, he might want to put some of that back in or create another product or go again or have to, buy new machinery or something or upgrade a process of some sort or hire some staff. Like, it's never ending. So does that make you rich? Not really. So selling at scale, which is how I've managed to make my money, which is, I didn't put 200,000 in, but I put some large sums in total. I did, but I didn't put it into one product. 200,000 into a product, 100,000 units, £2 per unit. This is the difference now. You get a better unit cost because you're putting more in. The world just rewards the rich. That now sells for $9.99. The reason we do that is because we can make the same money but have a cheaper price, which means that it goes out the door even quicker. Sometimes you can make more money, have a cheaper price. Then you're making more, but the sales are quicker. And speed of sales is massive. It's a massive key to getting rich. So instead of having like 1 million units and you sell 1 million units and you're like, we've made 8 million, but it took you 20, 30 years to sell those 8 units, makes it kind of pointless. If you can get them out the door in like big companies do, they get them out the door in a month, like Amazon, because they do Amazon Basics. They do it for 1/10 of the price. And they still make a profit and they get it out the door 10 times quicker, they're making that 8 million in X amount of years. Do you know what I mean? Or X amount of months. They do it so much quicker. So what we got here is stage 2, just shy of 1 million, and you sell out twice as quick. That's wildly beneficial. Speed is as good as money. The money you're making, if you can do that twice, like if somebody said to you, you can make 1 million in 2 months, or you can make 1 million in a month, you're taking the 1 million in a month, right? All right, guys, my battery has died, so we're just going to continue without my face being on there. My fault, I should have charged it. But you'd take the 1 million in a month, wouldn't you? Because then you'd assume that you could make the same the following month and the following month and the following month. You'd want to do it quicker. Like, speed is just as good as the money you make. That's something I've learned over the last 2 years and doesn't really get taught. People just talk about it as one number, like, oh, we made 1 million, but you made 1 million in like 7 years. It's not that great, but if you can make 1 million in like a shorter space of time, selling the exact same number of units, okay, so it's not as stupid as it sounds. It's not like, oh, would you rather 1 million over 20 years or 1 million a month? Like, obviously it's 1 million a month, but I'm saying like it's the same number of units. Try and wrap your heads around that, guys. It's the same number of products. It's the exact same money made, but it's just a shorter span of time. That is a game changer. So then that gives you, so you get 200k of that, you put it straight back in, and then 799,000 of that is profit. Would that guy be rich? Yeah, I'd say that guy would be rich. I'd say because he's about to do the same. He's about to make he's about to replicate that again. And if anybody had 1.8 million or 1.6 million just sat around in the bank account of profit that they've made and they packed up their business, I'd say that guy's pretty wealthy. He's doing pretty well, but he's obviously going to scale it from there. You don't sell 100,000 units and have an unsuccessful business. Do you know what I mean? He's going to rinse and repeat that. So selling at scale, does that make you rich? Yes. Yes, it does. Does having a shit ton of money and buying like 50 properties all in one go make you rich? Yes, it does. When it comes to investment, being able to play with like 200,000, did that make the guy rich? Yes, it did. So you get what you get what I'm playing with here, guys. And it's that you need money to make money. Okay, very obvious, but when you see it written down like this, it makes a lot more sense. So this is why I'm such a fan of factory work, because in my opinion, this is the only way to actually get rich, guys. Everybody gives you different methods and whatnot. And, kind of like digital courses have been a game changer because there's no upfront cost. The only cost is time. So once you've made them, it's 100% profit. It's almost slavery through a course. And that is why so many people online now are getting rich, because the course doesn't have any upfront costs. You don't have to replace it. It's unlimited stock. There's no transport cost, no delivery fee. Do you know what I mean? It's probably the easiest industry in the world to get rich through. But outside of that, because it's going to be a saturated industry, even though it's growing. Let me go back. Yeah, go away. So this is why I'm such a fan of factory work, because if you're just a normal guy, like I was, if you're just a normal guy and you're trying to go through your life and make a serious amount of money and you don't know where to start, okay? And everyone's telling you, oh, it's stocks, it's crypto, it's this, it's that, it's whatever. And you're like, do you know what? I'm just fucking confused. No one's giving me the right answers. I can't see a clear roadmap. Here is a roadmap for you. Go and get a factory job. Unless you can earn like 100,000 sitting behind a desk all day, this is such a good option. You turn 18, you got no qualifications. You can work as many hours as you want. You can do night shifts. You can do weekend work. The uniform is cheap. They might even provide one for you, so you don't have to spend on clothes. A lot of the time, there's an on-site gym and shower, so you're saving money from the gym and you're saving money from water rates. You can walk to and from work, if possible. You can cycle maybe. Low responsibilities, so you're not going to be stressed out. As soon as you finish, you go home and you forget about it. Headphones on, so you're researching. So you put your headphones in. I know why I put on, actually. And I even changed that. I think I forgot you could put headphones in your ears. So you put your headphones in, you're just listening to a podcast, you're listening to investment news, all this stuff. You're building up this portfolio while you're working. There's not many jobs that allow you to do that. It's like on a night shift, you can do what you want. It's an instant job at 18, no qualifications needed, which, you know, people waste years at universities and stuff like that trying to get a good job and then can't get one, and they're on shit wages anyway. And you look at, for example, I worked the maths out earlier, if you did 12 hours per day, if you get paid roughly on average £12 an hour. If you did 14 hours a day, which is pretty easy to do, let's not go crazy over that. It's not that tough. 365 days a year plus the Christmas pay, it's about 65,000 per year. Okay, so if you just work every day 14 hours a day, and people will complain about that, you're young, shut up. I don't care. I did the same thing. I worked myself to the bone. I did 18-hour days, slept like 2-3 hours a day on the early days of my business and everything that I was doing. It's not hard. You're young, suck it up, right? And then when you're older, you'll thank yourself. So if you did that plus Christmas pay, where you get a shit ton more money when nobody else wants to work, 65k per year. Just do that for 2 years and you've got your 130,000. You've got that available. Of course, you've got living costs. Okay, so let's look at this on the right. Here's your bill. Here's the alternative, and here's your saving over 12 months. So renting a nice place. No, rent the cheaper place instead. Okay, you're saving about £1,000 per month on the cheaper place. So that leaves you about 12,000 extra. Car or public transport. How about you just walk? I'm not asking you to do this, but I walked an hour and a half to work and back every morning. So it's 3 hours of walking a day just to save £137 on a train that I thought was pointless to pay if I could walk. Now people would say, oh, but your time, and a rich kid said this to me actually. He was like, so you're dividing your time. You're saying your time is worth around about 50 pence. And I was like, you don't get it though. I was like, I don't earn in those hours. I was like, I'm not making any money if I don't save the money. Like, there is no secondary income coming in. I was like, in the early days, as a broke motherfucker, it's all about saving. It's all about the money that you can keep, the money that you can save. And this is what people don't understand. You know, if somebody's grown up wealthy and whatever, they've got different streams of income. Their parents have set them up with stuff. They get taught money, and he's right. He's right in what he's saying. They get taught money moves and like the smart end, but they don't know anything about how to start. And that's the difference. And that's the thing, in the early days, it's all about how much you can save, because you don't have a secondary income. You don't have enough money to even begin a secondary income. Do you know what I mean? You don't have the knowledge. All you can do is just clamber as many pennies together as possible. So if you can walk, great. Barber, just buzz cut it yourself. Same with your beards. Could be about £1,000 per year you're saving. Do the maths. It's actually shocking, because I know a lot of guys go once a week. Clothes and nights out, because they kind of go together. Just keep last year's clothes and stay in. Doesn't matter. You're like 18. Just do that for like 2-3 years. You're saving about £4,000 over 12 months. Shower at home, shower at the gym, £100 a year, probably on water rates. maybe more, but I think it's about that. The latest technology, just keep last year's or the year before. It doesn't matter. Save about £2,000 every year, not getting the new iPhone. Food shopping versus a healthy food shop, you probably save about £1,000 a year. I know that sounds crazy, but you do. You know, I don't care what anybody says. Unhealthy food, snacks, whatever, they're expensive as shit. Sauces and stuff like that, they add like an extra 30 quid to your shop. Eating out versus cooking everything from home, probably about £2,000 per year. Eating out, I do that a lot now that I'm in the position I'm in. It's fucking expensive. It's about £50 to £100 every time you go out. Watching sports, so avoid all pay-per-views and sports subscriptions because they're expensive as hell. I think a Netflix at like $9.99 for the entertainment it provides is pretty good value. But I think boxing pay-per-views like Logan Paul versus Dillian Danis and KSI versus Tommy Fury is just the biggest waste of money ever. I think all four of them are bums. Do you know what I mean? None of them can box. You're watching crap. And sports subscriptions is just the same on repeat every year. I'm a Manchester City fan. We won the treble last year. I've waited all my life for something like that to happen because we used to be shit. And now the new season starts and it's just the same. It's like, okay, here we go again. It's just like, well, that's so rude. I'm not paying for that shit. I'm not watching those games. I'm wasting hours of my time as well. So that's another £1,000 you could save. Heating, months like October, November, March, April, unless you're in Australia, it'd be different. Those months aren't actually cold. You just think you're cold because you're not used to it. Just put a big coat on, extra pair of socks on. It's not that bad. If you need to put it on for like an hour, so be it. But some people leave it on for hours and hours. Probably save an extra 400 over 12 months. Holidays, get over it. Oh, I can't go on holiday. I don't care. There's £3,000 you're saving per year. Everybody I know takes 2 or 3 holidays a year. Traveling non-stop. I didn't go on holiday for years. Saved a shit ton of money. When I do go on holiday, it's for filming, it's for a project, it's for business. It makes a difference. So everything that I've shown you there, that could be 35,500. Okay, and if you did 65k in a year from the factory job and you spent 35,500, you might be yanking your dick off because you'd think to yourself, okay, you know, let's just say tax doesn't exist for a second. You'd be saying, do you know what? I've got around about 34,500 available in my bank account. I'm rich. I'm balling. This is great. You could have had so much more money. I'm not saying you keep the whole 65,000. It's impossible. But do you get my point, guys? You could have had 50,000 saved. So then in 2 years, you do that twice. You've now got your 100 grand. You know, and I told you guys you only need 50. People like Warren Buffett say you need about 100 grand to make a serious change, serious difference. They're billionaires. Okay? That's the type of money that they're talking about. So let's say you managed to save your... Let's go back a few slides. Let's say you managed to... Can we go back to the start? No, just have to do a few previously. Trying to find something that's relevant. Okay, so let's say you've got your 100 grand. Let's say, and it's, you know, at the end of the day, guys, if you put 100 grand in and you lose it, you've lost it, you need to go again. You need to do the same thing again and save that money up. So make sure you do your fucking research. But let's say you had 100 grand and, you know, how big are your bollocks? Because I don't know if I'd put a whole 100 grand in if I only had 100 grand. So let's say you could even work for 4 years, save up 200,000, put 100,000 in, you know. Let's say you did that because you were young. Let's say you left school and from 18 to 22, you saved up 200k, which is possible because I showed you guys. You worked yourself to the bone for 4 years. It is what it is. Get over it. You sacrificed your life. Get over it. It's really not that difficult. I've done it. So you have 100 grand available that you've put in. So you put 100 grand in. Let's say it does 10x or it makes some serious damage. 10x is tough, but let's say it did. It's been done with a lot of coins in the past. So let's say it just happened, which is getting rarer and rarer, but let's say it did happen for you. And you had $1 million. You were able to make 7,500 per month from houses that you bought. Do you see what I mean, guys? You're technically retired. You could be retired at like 22. You're absolutely sorted. Now, that's a dream scenario because it probably won't 10x. It might 2x, 3x, whatever. But taking 100 grand and it 3x's and you go up to 300,000 plus you've got another 100,000 left over and you're 22 years old, 23 years old, whatever it would be by that point. That's pretty fucking good. I wouldn't be turning my nose up at that. And then you've got 400,000 to play with. So you can put a lot more into other things. If you wanted to do this, for example, this one, If you wanted to put 200k into a product that's costing you £2 per unit and you'll send it for £9.99 and you make $1 million, let's say it takes you a year to do that, and you get to keep 799,000 profit, well, now you're making 800,000 a year as an entrepreneur. Do you see what I mean? It started from being in a factory and saving as much money as possible. It's not glamorous. It really isn't. It's not as glamorous as the movies make out. You have to start with something. Sometimes people strike fire. They start the next Instagram. But here's the thing. My favorite actor is Daniel Day-Lewis. I think he's the greatest ever. I researched Daniel Day-Lewis and he was born in Kensington with rich parents. Like, this is the case for 99% of successful people. The majority of people. It's even the same in sports. It's like somebody's dad was a coach. Do you know what I mean? And they got them the scholarship. Like, it's very hard for people like us to even make it. You either need to know somebody, your parents need to have a shit ton of money. It's difficult, guys. It's really fucking difficult. But this is the part that people don't tell you. So people will sell you a course and it's like, but I need to know your backstory. I need to know how broke you were. I was having water on Weetabix for breakfast. Like, and I've managed to make it to this level of life. So I feel like I understand every component. I've worked shit jobs. I've worked in factories. I've walked to work for an hour and a half there and an hour and a half back just to save £136 a month, which was at the time, that was zone 1 and 2 for the underground in London with the Oyster card. So, I feel like I've been there, done it, and became successful. And that is the only method that works. Now, you can trickle your way to the top. It takes a fuck ton of time. But you can do this. If we go back one page, previous. So you can put 10k in and you can make yourself 40,000 profit every single year for 5 years. And then you finally have the 200,000 and you can put it in and you make your 800,000. Okay. And then you put the 800,000 back in and whatever. But that's going to take 10 years. This is what I did. This is like the strategy you're looking at right now on screen is pretty much what I did. 10,000 into a product, decent price. Like, mine were different because mine were between 15 and what they are now. They're about £7 per unit now. So mine is slightly different. But I was having a chat with a company the other day and I was like, if I put $250,000 in, what can I get them for? And I can get them for next to nothing. We can get that down to about £4. So if they're £4 and I'm selling them for, I can go back to the original price that we had on the supplements of $14.99. I'm 3xing my money and you guys are getting them cheaper than ever for the product that's just the same. Do you see what I mean? Everybody's a winner. We're selling them quicker than ever. We'd probably be cashing in on, I think I worked out 1,080,000, which is crazy money to be making from, I think it's about 65,000 units. Which with a fulfillment company, we can ship out that door in seconds. And it would also mean, or the other option you have is keeping it at $19.99 and just having free shipping worldwide. Do you see what I mean? It's like, it gives you options. But to get that money, you need to toil, like I showed you on the final page, where you save up as much money as possible. And that might allow you to save up, let's say, the 10K. So you put the 10K in and you make 40K and you're like, okay, now it's a full-time job. I've got a full-time wage, or it's a part-time job. So you're doing that part-time whilst working in a factory and you save up more money and the whole trick is to just get a chunk, a lump sum chunk, 50K or more. And then once you have that, whatever you're doing becomes easy. It becomes really easy. Like if I said to you right now, like I'm not against property, but I don't think it's quick. If somebody said to me right now, here's 10 million, what do you want to do with it? Now, naturally, I'd do my streaming platform, which is another long game. But naturally, I would say streaming platform. But if somebody said to me, put $1 million into your products, you got 9 million spare and you don't have a streaming platform, what are you going to do? I would put 9 million into property. Because I could buy overseas property, UK property, rent it all out, and the money I'd be making back would be outrageous. But I don't have 10 million lying around. Nobody's just going to give that to me. Do you see what I mean? So you get all these like property moguls, or like this guy was a billionaire from property, and it's like, yeah, but tell me the whole story. How did you start? Okay, because if you're 68 years old and you've made $1 billion from property, but your dad gave you a small loan of $2 million or something, and that's how you began, and then you climbed it and you toiled and you worked hard from there, I don't trust you. Because for me to make that first 2 million is probably going to take me like 30 years. Do you see what I mean? It's different for us guys. We're not the same as everyone else. We're not the same as these rich kids, sorry. We're not the same as these people who get handouts. We're not the same as, oh, did you hear about this new actor? He's 18 years old and he's already done these 3 movies. What were you doing at 18? And it's like, who's his dad? Oh, his dad's a world famous director. His dad's Martin Scorsese or something. And it's like, oh, right, okay. Well, now I can fucking see where he got. And it just annoys me because it's like, people don't understand that first part. And the people who you see on TV and magazines, whatever, who are, oh, five success tips, like Bill Gates or Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos. You grew up in wealthy families that were making hundreds of thousands per year. You had jobs in finance. You went to the best schools. You don't understand what it's like to be us, taking the bus to work, having to walk to save money, cutting our own beard and hair for years to save 20, 30 pound a week. Do you know what I mean? Like, people don't understand what it's like to be at that bottom level. But this is how you get out of that bottom level. And the media and everybody in the interviews and whatever, forget about a lot of these fuckers until you get to another stage. Like, I had a mentor in the early days who taught me a lot of things about media and social media. I needed that. But in terms of actually having a full-time mentor, you don't really need it. You don't really need it too much. You need one in the early days, nothing in the middle, and then you need one at the end. Because, you know, like, let's say if somebody said to me right now, Elon Musk can be your mentor, the richest guy in the world, I'd be like, I don't need it right now, though, because he doesn't know my business better than I do. I'm sure he could give me 1 or 2 tips, but I'd be like, it's just not really worth its time. Once I'm worth like 50 million, I could tap him on the shoulder and be like, hey, by the way, can you give me some tips? Can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? How do I get to this stage and that level? But all the stuff in the middle is just work. It's just reinvesting your money and working. It's not rocket science, but it's that start. That start is the hardest part because you have to find the lump sum. And like I said, it can be 10, it can be 20, it can be under that, and then you scale. But once you get to 50 or above, that's when you feel rich because, like, if I put 50K back into my lifestyle supplement, for example, well, that becomes, it's about 400,000 that would come back in the other way. Okay, so, you know, just off one product, you can make nearly 500,000. In between 250,000 and 500,000. So, you know, that puts you immediately, if it's, well, to be honest, it's definitely above 330,000, which is the top 1%. So you'd be a top 1% earner because you started with 50K. Do you see what I mean, guys? And you'd have 12 months to sell all of those units, which would be maybe 7,000 units, maybe 8,000 units. That doesn't take too long, less than 1,000 a month. So, you know, it's once you've got a lump sum, it's not that difficult. It's just before that. Before that is so hard. And if we go to the final slide again, this is how you do it. It's not rocket science. That's why I love factory work, like I said, because you're in control. You could be 18 years old making 65K per year if you just put the hours in. You know, and even if it's not that, it could be 40K per year. You don't have to put in all those hours. You can make 40K per year from a factory job when everyone else is at uni or everyone else is struggling to find a job. And 40K a year is a lot of money if you're 18. Let's say you did 18, let's say you did 18 to 22. Okay, when everybody finishes their gap year. So they do 3 years at uni, they do their gap year. You get to 22, they've all qualified, they've all got this and that and whatever, but they've got massive debts. And you've got, let's say you've only done 40, so you've got 160,000 left over. You know, minus the bills and whatnot and stuff you've had to do during that time. You've toiled and you've saved, like I've shown you on the right with the alternatives. And instead of 160,000, you have got, let's say 100,000. Okay, so you've gone through 60 grand, 15,000 per year for 4 years. So you've got 100 grand. So you've got 100 grand, no debts. They've got a qualification, no job and massive debts. Who's in a better scenario? Okay, you then leverage that 100 grand by using 50,000 of it to put into anything that I've shown you today or anything else that you know will work, and you 5x your money. So now you're sat on 300,000 in total with everything that you've got, and you're only 23 years old. Do you know how far that puts you ahead in life? Like, that's where it comes from. I don't know how much easier to explain it. Just save as much as you can, find a way to build a lump sum. Use that lump sum to leverage, because, you know, you could hit the deal of a life. Let's say you had the savings that you had. I know guys that put £1,000 into Bitcoin and became multimillionaires. That's never going to happen. There's like a handful of people managed to do that. I just don't see how that really happens again. I don't see how many scenarios where you can rely on that. That's like once every 15 years, 20 years. You can't wait for that. It's just a stupid. It's a stupid strategy. It's not going to work for you guys. So let's say you put £2,000 in, like you saved up £2,000, your family gave you some money, whatever, you've saved up from Christmas and birthdays, and you're like, I'm going to start investing. Even if you 2x that £2,000, it's still going to take you fucking forever. Do you know what I mean? If every year you 2x your money, which is pretty good fucking going, you know, it's going to take you like 20 years still to make a serious dent. This is what people don't tell you. So you're better off just saving, just racking up as much you can, 2 jobs, factory work, whatever it might be, selling everything you can get your hands on. Just get that lump sum, 50,000 or above. And then if you were playing with that money, do you know what I mean? That's a game changer. 50K doubled, okay, now you're in the 6-figure bracket. You know, double that, 200,000, double that, 400,000, double that, 8, double that, you're a millionaire. Comfortably, you're nearly a multi-millionaire. It's not that far away, but you have to start with a decent sized chunk. That's the hard part, but this is how you do it. Hope this has helped, guys. It's the only strategy that works. I don't care what anybody says. People all give you these little tricks and tips and whatnot. Sell on Amazon. Do that. Like, that's what I hate about these videos. If you want to get rich, it's easy. Stop complaining. All you got to do is, like, you have options. You can sell on Amazon. You can do that. And it's like, yeah, you can sell on Amazon, but how much money am I starting with here, buddy? Is somebody going to give me a loan of 100,000? Or am I going to have to start out with my £500? And then they go, and you can flip it. Okay, I flip it for how much? You know, I've got 0 audience. I've got 0 existing sales on my store. I'm a new store starting fresh, and I can work my balls off, but I might flip my £500 to £5,000 if I'm a genius. If I'm lucky, I might make £5,000 off it this year. Okay, and then I got bills and tax to pay, and I've got a full-time job. So I'm going to put that £5,000 back in if possible. And I mean, if possible. You know, as long as my car doesn't break down, my boiler doesn't break, and all this other shit. And I'm going to try and flip that. Even if you have another stellar year, it's still only £50,000. So it's taken you 2 years just to, you know, of the hardest work possible, in the best possible scenario, in the luckiest circumstances, just to get that 50K that I was originally talking about. And then you can use that 50K to do something. But that's like dream world. Do you know what I mean? I think the modern world and the internet has made people delusional. It's not that easy. It's really fucking difficult. I've probably sold 20,000 products through this business so far. Yeah, I've put a lot of money back into the streaming platform. But I'm sat here today telling you I'm doing well and I make a lot of money every single month, but I'm certainly not rich. You know, and I've sold 20,000 units of products for a very good profit margin, but I'm certainly not rich. You know, I could be if I had kept everything. I'd put it all in the bank, and I didn't invest in the platform. I didn't reinvest in other things and make other investments for the long-term game. But that's what I'm telling you guys. It's not easy. It's not easy. You got to keep putting it back in. If you start from the bottom like I did, it's a constant game of every penny I make goes back. Every penny I make goes back. Otherwise, it stops. And we don't have a trust fund. We don't have parents that are going to die and leave us with hundreds of thousands. My dad did die. And by the time he sold his house and everything, and, you know, the people that were involved got their share, I only walked away with 24,000, which is a huge chunk. And some of you might be listening to this saying, fuck me, 24,000 would save my life right now. I understand that. But my 24,000, 2 days later, went back into the streaming platform. I didn't see a penny of it. You know, some people's parents die and they inherit like 7.8 million. Like, we're not those types of people. Do you know what I mean? That's his entire life. And I walk away with 25,000. It's also why I don't encourage marriage and shared ownership of things. But, you know, 25,000 for myself. His son, 59 years old. That's all I could get. You know, I didn't want a penny. I'd rather my dad to be alive. But I'm saying to you guys, we don't have that luxury. It's not going to change your life. It's not going to be a game changer. Do you know what I mean? This is our only strategy. Save, scrimp, look like shit. shit clothes, shit hair, shit beard, whatever it is. Just do what you need to do. Don't buy anything. You know, keep all your costs low as possible. Walk everywhere. Yeah, it sucks. You're going to be single and lonely and whatever. But like, just give it a few years. Because if you've got 50 grand in something that 10x's and you go up to 500,000, now you're a big player. Do you know what I mean? You've got something you can actually work with. If you put 50 grand into a product and you make 5x off each unit and it goes up to 250,000, you put 50,000 back in to do the same thing again, another 50,000 into a second product to do the same thing on that. And now you're making 500,000 a year and you've got 200,000 in the bank. Well, guess what? You're a big player. You're on the board now. You're doing some serious moves. But that's where it comes from. It comes from that original lump sum. So I hope I've helped you guys. I hope I've educated you on how to actually make money, how to actually get rich, why it's so difficult, why some of you are sat there saying, I don't know where to start. That's why, because you don't have... Here's the tip that I'm going to end you with, and I want you to remember this for the rest of your life. You don't really know. Here's the thing. If you're a guy who attracts women, you know a lot about women, okay? If you're a guy who has money, you know a lot about what you can put your money into. If you're broke, the last thing you're thinking about is investments. The last thing you're researching is investments. You're not going to get your head up and look at, what could I make off the S&P? Like, you're not going to look at that shit if you're living month to month and you're broke. So once you do have 50,000, 100,000, whatever it might be, once you do have that as a lump sum in your bank account saved up, you're going to start doing your research. You're going to start looking into things. You're going to start seeing ideas and opportunities because you know you can. Whereas if you have £854 in your bank account right now, you're probably not thinking, do you know what? I'm going to create my own products. I'm going to start an investment fund. You're saying I need that 840 whatever pounds just in case my fucking car breaks down. I need that for fuel. It's my daughter's birthday next week. I need to get her something. Do you know what I mean? Your mind's not where it should be, which is understandable. But your mindset won't be right until you have that cash. Until you actually have something saved up in the bank, you won't be thinking like a wealthy individual because you're like, well, why would I? I haven't got the money to use it for that anyway. You know, if you didn't have legs, you wouldn't go shopping for running shoes, would you? Like, it's just so silly. I don't know why people haven't worked it out. That's going to be one of those out of context things. I'm glad my face isn't on it. Those videos are so funny. If you can watch it, I think it's First Man being unintentionally funny or something like that. You should watch it. It's so fucking funny. It's on YouTube. I might do a reaction video. Either way, I'm going to shoot off, guys. Hope you have a good one. Hope this helps a lot of you out there. And best of luck with everything that you do.